Ruth Drabkin is on the line, who's an author and storyteller whose work bridges mystery, romance, and comedy with a cinematic edge. She's best known for her Revelation series, which follows undercover agent Penny Padlock through twisting investigations set everywhere from Hollywood grocery stores to international skies and seas. She's also expanding her adult fiction universe with bold, character-driven storytelling that blends wit, suspense, and heart. In addition to her adult novels, Ruth has written several beloved children's books that inspire imagination and creativity in young readers. And Ruth is, of course, with us here. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you, Toby?
I'm excellent, thank you. Now, this book series you've got, Revelations, it takes us to Sunset Boulevard's most dangerous grocery store. So what sparked the idea to set a murder mystery in such an unexpected place?
Well, actually, I used to work in a grocery store on Sunset Boulevard in Hollywood, and I was working in the coffee kiosk, as known as Starbucks. And so it kind of gave me the idea to, since I saw what everything was going on in the store, just kind of, I was making up stories in my mind of what could go right and what could go wrong. So, so it was based on my own experience.
And the book's described as a sort of mix of mystery, romance, and comedy. So, how did you balance those tones without letting one overpower the other?
Well, I just kind of looked at the story overall and the stories I wanted to tell within the main story. So just finding balance was a little tricky because you just, I I see the humor in everything if
Yeah.
possible. So I didn't want that to be overpowering in it because that's just how I am and not everyone is like that. So it was tricky to find the balance, but I think I accomplished that.
Yeah. And your main character, who's called Penny Padlock,
Mhm.
how did you first sort of meet her, if you like? And what was it that made you want to build a whole six-book series around her?
Penny became penny for your thoughts. So a lot of times, as when you work at a bar, your customers are going to tell you their life story. So that was the same thing at the coffee shop where customers would, invite you into their lives, basically. And so I thought penny for your thoughts, penny. And then for some reason I came up with padlock because it seemed like a catchy name. And from that, I decided to further on in this series, I'm going to develop more why the alias is Penny Padlock. So basically, I'm going to unlock Penny Padlock. And I think that will come full circle, in the end. So it will put real closure to an exciting story.
And the book has this sort of caffeinated chaos energy from secret identities to sabotage. So, did you draw any inspiration from sort of real life coffee shop culture or undercover crime stories?
Yeah, well, just based on my experience and working with others, especially you wouldn't think in a grocery store that things would be cutthroat, but I found myself meeting customers that wanted to get me fired right away for no reason. So I just thought, what is it about this place that makes people act like this? So with the turnover and people wanting to move ahead with their careers and build on their experience at Starbucks, which I call Sunset Star Coffee in the book. It was just, the whole micromanaging experience working in retail. It's like any other workplace where coworkers will be nice to you and behind your back do something else. So,
Yeah. And
yeah.
as you've mentioned, there's a lot of humour woven into the series. So, why was it important for you to make readers laugh as well as gasp.
Well, because life shouldn't be as serious as it is. And, it's just the routines that we all get used to with making sure we have our cup of coffee in the morning. Sometimes, in the afternoon, sometimes people have 4 cups of coffee. It's just like as I said, we get caught up in the mundane things that we deal with life, and we forget about human interaction and people. And so that's why, we're basically all the same. We're all connected. So it was important for me to put more of a comedic spin on everything.
Yeah.
Like ordering your coffee, but yet you're being so serious about it.
Mhm.
And yet it's supposed to give you enjoyment. It's supposed to help you, thrive through your day. So you shouldn't, be rude to the person that serves it to you, basically.
And Penny Padlock's story will unfold across 6 books. So, can you
Mhm.
tease a little about what readers can expect from her journey as the series continues?
Oh, okay. Well, in the next book, it's Revelations Airways. So Penny Padlock is an undercover flight attendant on Alpha Airways, and then I'm tying the whole Alpha universe into the Penny Padlock story. So the third book will be Revelations Royal Voyages. So it will take Penny as an undercover cruise director on a cruise ship. And then the last 3 books will have a beginning, but won't have an ending. It'll all be intertwined based around Destination Red Sea, where we're going to have 3 penny padlocks be simultaneously undercover working on the same mystery.
Mm.
So it'll be interesting. We'll unlock more of the padlock, like with how do you unlock a padlock or a lock? You're looking for a key. So that's the whole premise of that. So I'm excited to work on those too. Work on those the rest of the series.
Yeah. And you've written other books before Revelations. So, what was your very first one and what did it teach you about storytelling?
Okay. I My first book was Freddie the Red Betty, which is a children's book, and I created a magical red bed. So that kind of got me to think more creatively, and that whole process, and where it's almost like a puzzle,
Mm.
putting pieces together. So that just kind of led to other things like creating the Go Ruthie series with, I guess, a mini me version that's a super sleuth, a 6-year-old that solves mysteries with her friends for the help. I'm getting confused. Helping her friends solve mysteries with the help of her friends. And then just, all these other characters just came into my mind and I want to develop them. So,
Yeah. And what pushed you to take the leap into full time writing? I mean, was there a particular moment when you thought, okay, this is it, I'm all in?
well, when I needed to finish the first book, Revelations, I realized that work full time for a company is a little distracting, and I needed to focus. So the job I had at the time wasn't something I wanted to continue pursuing. So I took that leap of faith and decided I need to finish this one book, if anything else, and then start the other ones and see what comes my way and what opportunities. But so far so good. I seem to be really good with the momentum because writing is a little tricky,
Yeah.
where you lose focus, and to find the focus is really hard.
And where do you usually find inspiration? I mean, do ideas strike at random or do you build them from personal experiences or observations?
A little of both. I'm very observant with people and behaviors. So something that I'm doing, let's say on the daily, just myself. going to the grocery store, meeting with friends, having dinner in a restaurant. There are certain things, influences that pick up that come out of nowhere, and you think, oh, wow, that's a good story to develop within a story, because that's the whole thing with the books. It's stories within stories within stories and how they, mix, and you have to come out with a smooth ending, if there is an ending. Sometimes there isn't an ending, and sometimes you have to pick it up again. So yeah, it is tricky to find the what's going to hit you that day or what's not. And sometimes you have to accept that as well. Sometimes you're not going to have the inspiration for a good month or so. And, you just have to accept it with anything in life.
Yeah. Well, do you have plans to write any more books, outside of this series, or is this the focus for now?
Well, I'm working on it's kind of I would call it an epic Western, with the premise of the title being The Legend of King Cowboy, because it was a character I created thinking that I wanted to do a children's book based on King Cowboy, but I realized that there's more to that story than just having it as a children's book. So, so that's why I added more to the title to make it's more legendary. And then I also have another book, Bird Woman, which is based on half woman, half bird, with the whole mystical premise from Kenari, which is Thailand. It's a statue there.
Oh.
Yeah, so I kind of look. I think living in Los Angeles, you see what entertainment's out there, but you also kind of look for things that haven't really been developed, and it's a good source to figure your niche. But I have all these, ideas in my mind that I wanted to get out into books, so they're out there in the universe.
Yeah, well, in the meantime, where are we able to find this current book series, Revelations?
Yeah, Revelations is on Amazon, and you can also order the book through Barnes and Noble and online. I also have the ebook and audiobook available on Audible and Apple Books.
Brilliant. Well, many thanks for coming on the show today. It's been great having you here.
Well, thank you very much, Toby. I greatly appreciate it.